Welcome in, guys. Aloha for showing up, and thank you for coming in here. Please like and subscribe the video. We're just getting started here again. This is our first year, and we really appreciate your time. Today. Let me tell you, I'm working. I'm not kidding here. I'm kind of clocking in and out at home for the heck of it. Just checking my times, running down to the book, checking out the kiosks, talking to bettors, all of that stuff. We're up to about almost 80 hours a week, seriously. So please, all we ask is that you like and subscribe so that it helps us with the algorithm and gets us on people's maps and radars so that we can help others make money as well as just yourselves. As we did go 3-2 last week, another winning record. We did better than 3-2 because we nailed the props, like the tight end prop Brock Bowers. We had told you a few benchmarks that you should hit, but the six receptions was stupid because it was plus 425, and we said we loved that, but we actually went one step further and said take him at 10 receptions, because that would be somewhere. We found the low end of 6-1, the high end of 8-1, and we brought that home. And we even said and mentioned, if there's one higher, sprinkle some on that as well. Turns out he got 12 receptions. If you were lucky enough to get that number on like FanDuel or DraftKings, we nailed that. Not to mention, we also told you take the yardage for him, which he far exceeded, and we did mention that if there was an over 100 yards, take that as well. And the third thing was we told you to he'd probably get a touchdown. Well, he got 3, so we absolutely nailed that. Now, we did have a couple other props, like first to score kind of thing. We liked one, Jamison Williams in the Detroit game with Minnesota. We liked him to be the first scorer. At 10-1 or more. These aren't lines or bets you're making $100 bets on. It's for fun. It's a $10 bet. They're great for parlays. So we dropped some of the other props, but the thing about the props, again, any gambler would know, anybody who plays will tell you, if I give you 5 or 6 a weekend and I hit 1, you are ecstatic about it, because that is serious plus money in general when it comes to a lot of the props. If on the longer shot ones, on the ones like, for instance, Christian McCaffrey this weekend, something scoring anytime touchdown, that's a no-brainer. You're probably laying. It's probably like minus 145 or something. We're not crowing about stuff like that. We're crowing over the long shots, the long odds, and anything that you might have mixed and matched to parlay and take down a huge number. So congratulations to that. We did go 3-2, like I said, but more importantly, the big one, as you saw on Wednesday wrap up, we showed you the receipt. We doubled up with Frisco over the Giants. It only got us 1,300 because we were a little bit. We're getting into the big money here now. It started at 200, and we're the double, and so it's more important to us to hit each week than to make a pure double. And so in that one, we took a little bit of a chicken's way out. We were confident on Frisco, but just in case, so we took them at even. Rather, because they're on the road, so we didn't like laying a lot of points, and so we took them at even. So 800 got us basically money line, got us 500 back for a total of 1,300, which we will be laying this week. We'll get into that in a minute. And so congratulations again. Anyway, Wednesday's wrap up was Wednesday's wrap up. Go back and watch Wednesdays. This week, before we get started, our sayings. So we're gonna get a little bit funny this week. There's a couple here. They're unidentified or unanimous, as they say. And the first one is, you're going to get a theme here. It's sometimes, when somebody's having a rough day, they just need a high five. In the face with a chair. It's because they're being jerks. So, we're not advocating violence. We just thought that was kind of funny. And the second one we found we thought would give you a little bit of laugh is, as a child, or as a young child, My parents told me I could be anyone I want to be. Turns out this is called identity theft, and it's illegal, so stay away from that. You don't want to be going to jail. And, again, the third and final for the cutes are, when one door shuts, you thought I was going to say another one opens. No, I'm going to say sometimes you get a hammer and nails and make sure that sucker stays shut, especially when people are giving you loser picks, right? So when one door shuts, leave it shut. Hammer the nails home. All right. And on the serious side here a little bit, especially again in what we do here for betting week in and week out, because it's a rough thing. It's not easy to have a winning record every week, or by the end of the season you're well into the plus. And so it's a lot of work. It's not an easy gig, but we're here to try to make it as easy as possible for you by saving you the most important resource we can, which is time. And along those lines, Thomas Edison once said, the most certain way to succeed is to always try just one more time. And so all the gamblers in the house are going to appreciate that. And to tie on or give the final leg of that parlay, if you're going through hell, keep going, according to Churchill. So Thomas Edison gives you the first leg of that parlay, and Churchill gives you the second leg of that parlay. So we'll leave you guys with that. So thank you and welcome in, guys. All right, so this weekend we've got a slate of games, and a lot of times, like last week, I just want to touch on one thing. A lot of times last week, it's not about who we picked, but also who we kept you off of, or what we hopefully pointed out or highlighted to you guys to maybe take a second look. And in week 9, trick or treat on demand, almost you could say, was a lot of scary tricks and a lot of not so good treats, with Green Bay minus 13 not covering, which we warned you about. The LA Chargers laying double digits, barely. I think they cut the 27-7. So again, a non-cover. We told you, or we talked about Detroit and Minnesota. Detroit loses, and believe me, we like Detroit. We actually thought, hey, Detroit at home under Dan Campbell, what's not to love off of a bye. It's a must-win kind of divisional game. What wasn't to like, right? Minnesota came to play, and the defense was dialed in, and so, but again, we touched on, like, again, the Green Bay and LA Charger game. We really pointed that out. We didn't specify Detroit, but we did say be careful, especially with the big dogs, because I think the Rams were the only big dog to cover. And along those lines, if you go back on Wednesday, we called our shot on the Rams, because we showed you a parlay that we bet on where we literally took the Rams scoring 19 to 24 points more than New Orleans. And so that was a 3-team parlay that for $20 got you almost, I think it was like $400 almost. So those are the kind of things we're trying to teach you, or pointing out to you and letting you go run down to your kiosk or get on your phone, FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever, Hard Rock Bets, the whole, and the gamut, and find those bets. And for something, a cheap investment, you could really knock home a nice take home. Sometimes it's obvious for a reason. Anything is possible, but how are either team scoring? Cleveland this week is a top 5 defense against New York Jets. So I bring that up because sometimes it's like an obvious pick that we might make. Like this week, the first one we're going to give you is Cleveland and the Jets under 38.5. Again, Cleveland has a top 5 defense. The Jets are bad, and either they got rid of 2 Pro Bowlers or all pro guys, right? With Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams to Dallas and Indianapolis. So where are the points going to be coming from in this game? We looked long and hard at it because, again, sometimes the odds makers are they give you a number. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. The casinos are built on the backs of everybody thinking this is easy. But sometimes it's obvious for a reason, as we say. And we looked long and hard at this game. We've checked with all of the sharps that we follow. We've checked with all the information and data that we gather. We also use our own system or algorithm type thing, and then we also follow one person who's basically a math genius at running the scenarios, and they run 10,000 simulations for every game. And on this one, it's way under. And the model is very conservative. So, meaning that if it's like 3 points under the posted total, it really hits at a higher percentage rate, because that 3-point difference is probably in reality more like 7 to 10, because the model that person runs is very, very conservative. That's why we use it, because it's like it hits at like a 68% rate. And again, in what we do at sports betting, that is a long-term winning formula. So we want to stick with that. So our pick number 1 of 5 picks this week: Cleveland and the New York Jets under 38. And again, we've talked about and told you about. Don't be afraid to tease it or buy back 1 or 2 more points, because a lot of games this year, with the whatever posted line was, a half a point made a difference. And so, again, we'd rather cash out less but cash out than push the limits, always get the max odds and miss by a point or a half a point. There's nothing worse than that. So we want to make sure that you guys understand that. Okay, it's along the lines of the unders. The number 2 game that we want to point out to you is Houston and Jacksonville, also under. And again, the posted line we have is 38.5. But again, if you can tease it, or you can buy back a couple of points, whatever, maximize your line versus trying to maximize your return, because cashing out's the most important part. So with that game, we generally don't give you bang, bang, bang. We spread this out, or we have some other stuff to talk about. But it's the same game, which is Houston. We have right now, we've seen posted +2. That is, now understand, the line opened up at Houston giving 1.5 to Jacksonville at home. That was before C.J. Stroud was ruled out, and before the game was that last game was even played, where he got the concussion with Denver and Houston. So it was Houston -1.5. The line is now flipped, mainly because of the C.J. Stroud quarterback situation, and he's not going to play this week. You're going to get Davis Mills. Again, Houston should be +2. Try to get it to the key number of 3.5. 3 being the key number, half a point of the hook being the protection against that field goal. And again, we would, even with Houston, sprinkle a little money line on Houston outright, because you're anytime you're getting plus points and it's a live dog where the dog can win. We see the dog being able to win outright. That we like that. So again, like for instance, a parlay that I would put in this weekend would be Cleveland and the Jets under, and Houston and Jacksonville under, and then Houston money line, and then the Monday I would take the dog of Philly money line, and then when I get to Monday, based on, so those four teamer right there. I'm not in front of the kiosk. I don't know what that would pay, but hypothetically, let's just say for a moment, $20 would get me about 400 for that 4-teamer. Let's just say. Then for that, then I want to make sure I bet 100 the other way on Green Bay, either money line or well, it would have to be money line because you have Philly money line and Philly's the dog. So you would have to take Green Bay money line for about $100. But now you're sitting to a point where you can't lose, right? Or you could do something a little bit more clever. This takes a little bit more nimble and nuance, but you could take Philly at plus the 2.5 or 3, and then look for a way to get Green Bay at maybe +1 or money line. And if you're lucky, the game ends up 21-20 or 24-23, and Green Bay wins by 1, and you end up middling it and scooping both. That's really hard to do, and it takes a lot of nimbleness. So again, we like the first suggestion better, where you stand to make a lot one way, but make sure that you cover your initial investment the other way. So if the worst case happens where your parlay misses, you get back that money and a little bit of sugar for your trouble. But if the big one hits, you don't care about the $50 or $100 the other way. You just took down the 400 minus the 100 over here. You're still up a nice couple of units there. So keep that in mind. That's what we're trying to get you guys on the logic and thinking. So there is that approach. All right. So far we've got Cleveland, New York under, Houston, Jacksonville under, and Houston plus the 2. Again, try to get it to 3.5, and then that covers you on the field goal. The fourth here is going to be. I know I'm already gonna prepare myself for the comment box, and hey, take your best shot. We don't mind. But what we would ask that is, if you're going to take it ahead of time, make sure to come back after the game and own it one way or the other. But this is a hold your nose pick. This is the 4th pick, and it is an ugly pick, folks. But there's reasons for it. We're following the sharp money, and we've got a lot of trend backing this play up. And if you think about it logically, it actually does make a lot of sense. But our pick here is the Miami Dolphins. Yes, the Miami Dolphins at home against Buffalo. And I love Buffalo as a playoff contender for sure. But Miami at home taking the 9.5. We have a couple of posted lines we found. Of course, we're going to take the max line. So we want it at 9.5. And again, like the last pick, at 9.5, you're close enough to key numbers, right? So 10 is a touchdown and a field goal, obviously, right? And so we would love to get that to 10.5 or even 11 because of 2-point conversions now. Even if I can get it to 11.5, meaning alt lines. Again, I'd rather cash out for less, but cash out than miss by 0.5 point and be sick about it because I was a little bit too greedy and wanted more money than taking a little extra protection. So Miami, the posted line, that's our call, 9.5. But we're saying to really make it worth your while or protect yourself, take Miami, get it as high as you can to without teasing it, get it to if you can get it to 10, buying 0.5 point, right? 10.5, buying a whole point. At my place with the MGM, you can buy up to 2 points. So 9.5 would get me to 11.5, and I would absolutely take 11.5 because 21.10. There you go. There's 11.5. So that's our 4th pick. We're going to give you our double up pick in a minute, but I want to go over just a few other things here, which is this week I want to point out that like on that Miami pick, find yourself some teasers that you could sprinkle in. And I get it, if you got to pick your own teams, it makes it harder and stuff, and you tune in here because you don't have time to do that. So these are not our official picks, but these are some look at me teaser picks or suggestions that you can tease some of the stuff we've given you. For those of you who are nervous and want more points or more protection, here's some teaser ideas. Okay, so speaking of Miami, with 9.5 and plus 7 more, you're getting 16.5. Again, if you bought the 11.5 plus this, now you're at 18.5. So again, that's a nice teaser right there, because that is I don't care what team is in the NFL. It's not easy to cover, a big line like almost 20. So, and I know in Vegas they have 10-point and 12-point teasers. We do not use those or refer to those because I don't have them available to me. But if you've got them, oh my God, by all means, do that. Again, because now you're talking about 12 plus the 9.5. You're talking about 21.5. Sign me up. So, because you're going to win those more than you lose them, especially as a home dog. And again, you can look at the Miami game and go, what are you talking about? They just got blown out by Baltimore 28-3 on a night game. That's a little bit different than a hot, humid day game down in Miami against a divisional opponent. If you go and look at some of New England's best years, with New England and Belichick and Brady, when they would go to Miami that once a year, they would lose outright or struggle and fail against the spread more times than not. So just saying, this is a different game than a Thursday night game. This is a Miami team. Yes, the coach is on his way out. The team is, but these players have pride. Tua has pride, and we think they're going to run Achane and the ball. They're going to run that clock. Buffalo and again Miami. It's a divisional game, so nothing can surprise you in a divisional game. I'll refer your memories not very long ago to the first meeting with Philly, who just is your Super Bowl champs, playing Jackson Dart and having Malik Neighbors unavailable. And other than Scadaboo not having anybody else in there, and they went in and manhandled Philly and beat them by double digits outright as a home dog that night. So, again, as we know, in the NFL, anything is possible. Other teaser ideas to flirt with. San Fran, plus as much as, like, again, with our 7-point teaser, we'd be getting the 4.5 plus the 11.5 for San Fran, and under, I have it here at 56.5. I'm sorry. Yeah, it would be under 56.5 to get the posted line here. I don't have my lines in front of me, but again, San Fran and LA under the total or over the total, depending on which way you want to go. But we like San Fran plus all those extra points with the 4.5 plus the 7. Tampa Bay and the Patriots. The posted line, I have it noted here, is 48.5. So you would only have to go over 41.5. And so we think that one's going to go back and forth a little bit. And so Patriots and Tampa Bay for a teaser over. Chicago and New York Giants. That one, be careful. I bring it up, and it looks interesting. You would have to get over 41. But make sure you know the weather on that one. I heard, I didn't double check this myself, but I heard it could snow, which obviously is going to affect both teams. Sometimes it makes it even easier for them to get over because the defense has to be reactive. And so if they're running the ball well, and Chicago has a good running game and New York can't stop the run, but on both sides, if they run the ball well, or short dump-off passes, the defense having to be reactive on a slick surface, it may actually help the situation with the over. But we're just saying, if it's pissing down rain, if there's 40-mile-an-hour winds, that kind of thing, always know your weather going into it. So there's that. With all of this teaser action and parlay action we're talking to you about, we again suggest that the last piece or your last team would be to tease or leg it with like Philly on Monday night. So right now the posted line is 2.5. So on a teaser you'd be plus 9.5. You love that, especially the way Green Bay's been playing. But because then we would absolutely want to go in, and you wouldn't even have to money line that one. If you have a teaser as your last leg of any parlays and parlay teasers and whatnot, you'd be able to then go in and lay Green Bay minus or take Green Bay minus the 2.5, lay the 2.5 points, and now you got Green Bay minus 2.5, Philly plus 9.5, and you're hoping that Green Bay wins by 3, but no more than 9, and you middle and scoop everything. But if you really want to get greedy, you could always money line Green Bay. Again, money line on Monday is not that big, a huge number, because it's under a field goal. You know, if the line is 10 or 11, like it was with KC a few weeks ago and Washington, that's tough to money line it, because you're laying 500-600 to get one. That's really hard, and we understand that. But when a Monday night or Sunday night, you have your option depending on what's easier for you. At 3 or under, the money line's not too horrendous to try to work both sides and get that middle. So again, be strategic and think about it before you pull the trigger, and make sure that it all makes sense, and set yourself up to where when a parlay or a teaser is going to or can hit, you're able to go in on the other side of that very last leg and add to it, right? Or offset it, roll it, play the other side. That's why we always say on a 3-team parlay, always make it a 4-teamer with Monday night. Give yourself a night to look at everything after the dust settles on Sunday and so forth. That's why Monday has a lot of action with the professionals. But if you've got enough time and enough brain power and enough scramble, and you can get to wherever you got to get to do this, Sunday night games work as well. But we prefer Monday because we like some time to look at all of our tickets and digest everything that's happening. So, again, be tactical. Keep that in mind. All right. Before we get to our 5th team of the weekend, we did so well with the player props last week. We're going to start committing to it, that's a thing. Because, again, too, like with fantasy, we're not super heavy into fantasy. We gave you some advice at the beginning of the year to look at. We figure that you're smart enough on a week-to-week basis to understand what's going on. We know that for most part, your team's kind of set. If there's a hot waiver wire, like last week, we told you about Manungai, take the running back for Chicago. That was kind of obvious a while back when Rico Dowdle, made his exclamation when he went back to play Dallas and was pissed off about it. We pointed out that was a good fantasy and player prop day. So those kinds of things. This week, we're going to give you some player props, and you can decipher that and figure out if you want to apply it towards fantasy, like a Devontae Adams anytime touchdown. We'll get to. Clearly, Devontae Adams was our ride or die, so he's always in the mix. But making that point, obviously, you want to start Devontae Adams in your lineup, kind of a thing. The other thing I'll say is the defenses are getting to be more clear now and understandable. Obviously, Denver and Houston are huge. Green Bay hasn't been so good, Micah Parsons or no. What I would say is one that's being overlooked still is the Seattle Seahawks, although I don't like them, their defense against divisional opponents. But so you may want to flex or rotate your defenses according to weekly matchups, because now it's like more obvious what teams are dumpster fires like Tennessee, and what team and the Jets, and what teams stand out like Kansas City. And again, the team like Buffalo, I wouldn't want to start a defense against a team like Buffalo because they are so high scoring and explosive. So again, all common sense stuff. We don't talk about it much because we understand you guys are at least that smart. So we're not going to waste your time. All right. Anyway, getting to the player props of this weekend, we like Jackson Dart, the quarterback for the Giants, to get an anytime touchdown. And our quick research shows that is at plus 170. So it's a plus. Now again, these are ones I don't put more than 10 or 20 bucks on these. They're so hard to hit. But when they do hit, it's a nice little payday. And two, think about parlaying some of this stuff with the player props. And if you're lucky at your book, you could mix and match all kinds of stuff. So you can do like Jackson Dart anytime TD And like for instance, the Cleveland New York Jets under game and Houston Jacksonville under. And then again, don't forget if you love that three and that's your 3-team parlay of the weekend, add the fourth team. The odds pump it up enough that it absolutely makes it worth your while to then play the other side and try to middle it. So in this case, we would then either take that fourth leg to be buy a couple of points on the parlay, and instead of plus probably at your machine too, rather than 2.5, you might get lucky and be able to get 3. Green Bay giving 3, so you'd be able to take it up to 4.5. But in any event, you take Philly at 4.5, then you take whatever your investment is on that parlay at least. Maybe if it's like $50, then go $60, and on Monday night bet $60 Green Bay money line. And if you're lucky, you hit right in the middle. Green Bay wins by 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you've got your parlay, and you take back your money line bet, and you make a nice scoop there. So, but it's impossible for you to lose both, right? So that's what. And so if the parlay loses, you're glad you covered it. If the parlay wins, but it wins too big, where your money line bet goes down, you're not so mad because you got the bigger payday. So again, it's one of those things. You got. The season's long, and we want to make sure that you don't get gashed where there's a great week, like week 15 is going to be a great week for everybody, and you're out of ammunition by the time the week rolls around, and we don't want that. So that's why we're telling you to be pragmatic on your betting. All right, so Jackson Dart anytime touchdown plus 170. The next player prop we love is Achane, Devon Achane, the running back from Miami, to go over 32.5 yards and to go over 4.5 receptions. Their whole game, especially divisionally against the divisional opponents, is to get that guy the ball, and especially out of the backfield. So him going over 32.5 yards rushing and catching 4.5 receptions. Not a far-fetched thing. I would go one step further. Again, whenever we give you guys these player props, look at a next level up. So, like last week, with Bowers, where 6 receptions was already plus 475, but 10 and 12, I don't know what 12 got because I didn't have that, but it was available to people who have FanDuel or DraftKings say. But I know that a 10 reception was like 6 or 8 to 1 on your money. So again, in the case right now, this weekend with Devon Achane, I would go as far as to say, like, I love the 4.5 over receptions, but I would say 6 isn't an impossible number. I would 7. I'd kind of start thinking about it, but at 6, I think that he'll get 6 receptions, 32.5 yards rushing. It wouldn't shock me that if you can get really good plus money on it, to go up to like the 50-yard range, around 54 yards or something. So again, look it up. Everybody's book is different. I don't have access to FanDuel or DraftKings, so I'm just pointing out, and you're going to have to go find it yourself. I only have the established numbers of what is at most books. Okay, the third player prop, Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens quarterback, playing the Minnesota Vikings over 37.5 yards rushing. So 37.5 yards rushing. And if these are not too bad, like they're minus 105 or minus 110, minus 115 max, sprinkle them in a parlay, because that negates that minus number. Again, if this was like a minus 140, I wouldn't be suggesting it. But we found it at anywhere from minus 105 to minus 110, which is the worst case. So 37.5 yards rushing. Now again, next level up, if there's like a 49-yard, 52-yard rushing where you're plus 160, plus 210, do that. That definitely, on a parlay, that definitely adds to your if you hit it'll be a nice payday. So Lamar over 37.5 rushing yards, though, is what we like. Anytime touchdown, I looked it up, is plus 210. So right there, I don't think for a minute it's not impossible that he could get anytime touchdown at plus 210. I'll go even further and say I found where 2 touchdowns is plus 2,000. So bet 100 bucks. I'm not saying bet 100 bucks. I'm explaining what would be the payout. But plus 2,000 is bet 100 bucks, you'd get 2,000. Bet 10 bucks, you get 200. I absolutely would bet 200. A 10 bucks on that to get 200. More so, I would leg that as a 2-team parlay with a bunch of things I feel very confident with, and for $5 a piece kind of a thing, because plus 2,000 is some nice money on a 2-team parlay in a return. If you could get, for instance, Jackson Dart anytime TD and Lamar 2 touchdowns at plus 2,000. I don't know exactly what that would play, but you're plus 170 and plus 2,000. I know a 2-team parlay would be a nice hit. Betting $10 would probably be your week's worth of units. Rashid Shaheed, welcome to Seattle Seahawks. And Rashid Shaheed anytime touchdown is posted right now at plus 420. I think it's very, very possible that they welcome him to Seattle with a go route and a touchdown pass. The guy is brought here to do one thing: take the top off the defense. So anytime TD at plus 420, absolutely parlay that in somewhere with something. And I would go one step further, and although the absolute love the plus 420 anytime, and I think this is a little low, but I would absolutely, because I'm a Seahawk fan and a homer, I would absolutely take Rashid Shaheed to get the first touchdown in that game at plus 1,000. But I wouldn't really rely on it heavily. You know, I bet a couple bucks here, $5 parlay at that, and you know, one other thing, and try to cash out on that, because that is highly unlikely. But it's just so juicy, I gotta take it a little bit. I actually think it's a little low at plus 1,000. I think, honestly, anytime being plus 420, I think that as a bookmaker, I would think, but again, they want to get your money, and they don't want to pay you when you win. So they're only giving you plus 1,000. I really think that the right number, based on the anytime of 420, should be closer to like at least 1,200. Probably somewhere around 1,600, because again, first touchdown, and you're competing with the coin flip that they even get the ball first, or even if they're going to score first, because they're playing Arizona. So, but again, being a homer, I like the anytime absolutely, but the first touchdown at plus 1,000, just so I can cheer it on. All right, next player prop are ride or die, and this is a little bit of a hint for fantasy guys. Davante Adams anytime touchdown. Now this one we looked up, it's minus 130. So that's one I wouldn't bet it straight, but I absolutely, because you've got that minus 130, I would tie it in to a Rashid Shaheed anytime touchdown, and that kind of a 2-team parlay. And remember, 2-team always turns into 3. 3 always turns into 4. Because why? We're taking Monday night. We're going to add on Monday night. We're going to max out the dog's number, unless we were really sure about the favorite or the home team, whatever. But again, max out Philly. So if you can get 3 plus another 1.5 that you buy back at 4.5, it's a key number. You're covering the 4s, which is one of the highest percentage returns. And so with that, or not returns, but highest percentage hits. So with that, and then of course you're going to moneyline Green Bay, etc., etc. All right, so Davante Adams, anytime touchdown, but we love that one as one that's a high probability to cash. Excuse me. And finally, for players, we like George Kittle's anytime touchdown, which was plus 145 in the San Fran game. Irregardless whether it's Mac or it's Purdy, I believe we're pretty fairly certain it's going to be Mac Jones, but it doesn't matter. We think that he's in for a anytime touchdown at 145. So plus 145. So that one I would actually bet straight money. Like for me, I'd bet like $50 on it, because I think it's win or lose. It's almost a guarantee that he's going to get one, as much as guarantees can be in this business, right? Then I want to touch on 3 quick ones that really caught my eye this week, and I intend to lay it myself. We'll show you guys on week wrap up next week if we nail it. But the kiosk I go to, most of the teams, 95% of the teams, all the time have a bet where it's not no touchdown. Sorry, it's under 10. Each team stays under 10. So it's not a total thing. It's can either team basically score more than 10. And there's 2 games this week. I know you guys already know where I'm going, but the return is plus 10,000 in general. I've seen it as low as like plus 6,500. So like it depends on like, and I think these might fall a little lower than the plus 10,000. But weekly, you generally get a plus 10,000 from the MGM, and that's the 2 I want to. You probably already know where I'm going is Cleveland and the Jets for neither team to score 10. So both teams can score up to 9, but at 10, I don't know. I should check into this. I don't know if one was to score 10 and they win 10-9, say. I don't know. The way I'm reading it, I'm assuming that's a loss because it says neither team gets to 10. Well, one team got to 10. So it's not a tie. I believe that's a loss. So it would have to stay under 10. Each team would have to stay under 10. I'm fairly certain. But I'll check and get back with you guys on that. But in any event, that's plus 10,000. So if you're flush and like you bet $100, you would win $10,000 if that were to come to fruition. So it's very rare that it happens. But again, when you sprinkle in a little bet like that and it hits once a season, pays for all the shots you take, because you're not betting, like last week, Kansas City versus Buffalo. You are not betting that game for neither team to score 10. They're both getting to 10. Anything in the NFL is possible, but you pretty much know that wasn't happening. So you're not betting on every game. You're picking your spots. Like last week, we told you that there was a bet that we missed, actually, which was Jacksonville and the Raiders to go into overtime, and it was plus like 25 or 3,500. So that was, and I looked at that because I thought for a moment in my head while I was at the kiosk, like, oh, that's doable. And I take my notebook and I'm on a mission and I'm following my process. And I forgot or never went back and looked at that. And so it kind of went in one ear and out the other. And so, unfortunately, we missed it. But just letting you guys know that it's out there. Anyway, the second team second bet prop that we would like you point out is Jacksonville and Houston. Jacksonville and Houston, neither to get to 10. Last week, very possible because it absolutely. Sorry about that. I had to slip for a minute. So the Jacksonville-Houston game is the other one that, again, I'm not betting the house on this by no means. I'm not even $100, but I'm putting down $20 on this Jacksonville-Houston, neither to get to 10 because right now it looks like. With Davis Mills playing quarterback for the Houston Texans, and of course, I don't have to explain this, but with Lawrence, you got the Lawrence experience, as they call it, right? Monday night against Kansas City. I mean, you guys know already, right? Between his good play, his bad play, his up and down play, his interceptions, the fact that he can run, you don't know what to expect, right? So Trevor Lawrence, experience is one of a kind. But again, that is a divisional matchup. Houston's got a top 5 defense. Jacksonville now, has a solid defense, and they're like the turnover kings right now, and his name is slipping. It's off right on the tip of my tongue right now. But the kid that got the interception, the 99-yard interception off of Mahomes on Monday night, the two defenses are geared to play, and so staying under 10 is not, the most far-fetched thing to look at. The third and final prop is, we don't know. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find anything, and I haven't gotten down to the kiosk. I'm going tonight. But is Pittsburgh to score a defensive score? So it's got to be plus. It's got to be decent. I would say it has to be at least like, I don't know. I'm really jazzed about this one. I think that is very doable. That not only will Pittsburgh get a turnover, but they would score off of that turnover. But to me, to play it, you need somewhere in the plus of like 1,000. I guess I would this week, based on who they're playing, the Chargers, and how we think this game's going to go. I guess I would let the house edge be a little more, and so I might take it as low as plus 800. Let's call it plus 800. Excuse me, is as low as I would go on that. But just to let you know, again, mix and match some of these long shots, parlay them, and see what comes out. Sometimes the payout's so great, the apparatus, whether you're on your phone or at the kiosk, they won't even let you make the bet. It's too much odds, and they decline you. Then if you're in like Vegas, go to the window. They'll take it at the window, but a lot of times the payout's too high, which is a good problem to have for you. So on like a $10 bet, the payout's like, could be like $3,000 for a $20 bet, because you put together a 4 or 5 team parlay, but you've got a 2-3 money lines, and again, like this no TD or a defensive score. I like even better the Pittsburgh defensive score. And next thing you know, you've got a $20 4-team parlay paying you something astronomical in a couple $1,000 range. So again, that's what we're here for you guys, is to kind of take the weird or what things that people don't generally think about, and point it out for you and get you to the window on a ticket, like we did week 1 with the exactas from Circa, where we look, a lot of the teams we picked, nobody else had those teams but us, and we've got the receipts to show it. We're taking Denver to make this Super Bowl. We took the Patriots to make this Super Bowl. We took Pittsburgh to make this. I'm not real fond of the Pittsburgh one, and I think it falls apart here fairly soon under Baltimore. But taking Baltimore back before the first week of the kickoff, they were only like a plus. You're tying up a lot of money for a long time. You're looking for a long shot that's reasonably doable, not the obvious. Like one of the obvious bets at the beginning of the year, to make my point, is everybody at the kiosk when I was doing mine, if they were doing they were taking Buffalo versus Philly, Detroit versus Buffalo, those kinds of bets. And again, great bets, not horrible, but like you had the bet one. I do have one, for instance, like Buffalo and Chicago, and Chicago was kind of a long shot, but Buffalo was such a heavy favorite that like $50 is only getting me a return of like $1,600. Not only that's some nice money, but $50 on like my Seattle Denver pick would get me literally like $100,000. You know what I mean? So there's a big difference in the payouts. So that's all I'm saying. Anyway, so those were some of the AFC teams we have, long shots, and they have to meet a specific team in the Super Bowl. But we've got some nice looking tickets, or tickets that are shaping up nicely. We've got Tampa versus the Patriots as a long shot, pays out very nicely. We've got like I keep bragging about, one of my biggest ones, the one that my group and my team is rooting for the hardest, is Denver and Seattle to meet in the Super Bowl. My God, if that happens, we are going to have a wonderful year. We're looking at some serious coin. But anyway, these are teams that all the pros had all the obvious. We had Seattle. We still have Minnesota. We did have Green Bay, but at the time, Green Bay wasn't a heavy favorite. It was kind of middle of the pack. Like the Rams. The Rams were at 22-1 when we bet it. That's what we're kind of looking at. We were kind of always looking for anything, 18-1 or above. The 20-1, 22-1, and then the high ones on the 50s and 60-1s. So that's what we were kind of trying to. And a lot of the ones that we're putting together are really shaping up nicely. Anyway, enough of that. Just letting you guys know we're here to try to get you guys that $5 and $10 bet to turn that into, the $500 to $1,000 payouts. That is our goal here. All right, our fifth and final pick of the week, our double up. If we hit this, we're going to be at the 20-something hundred range. I haven't been down to the kiosk yet, so I'm not sure. But we're going to be laying the 1,300 that we cashed out on San Fran last week as our third leg, and we're going to be doing our fourth leg. We went from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 13 because we took the alt line, right, the San Fran money line, and now we're going to be doing 13 to, hopefully as high as possible, which would be 26. I don't think so because they're not going to get even money on whatever I'm betting on. But I am taking that 13 out. You guys will always see the ticket, win or lose. But our fifth and final pick, our kind of big play, our double up of the week, the Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks. I know when the team came up with this, I was like, what is going on? Because I am a Seahawk homer. But I don't care. I am not a homer. I am a homer to the Benjamin. And so if it's going to cash for me, guys, I don't care who it is. We're taking Arizona plus the 7. It's in Seattle. Now, let me just break this down. Before I do, though, let me go back real quick to Houston. I already got a couple of text messages while I've been here and looking over there. So, Davis Mills, we understand. Davis Mills is the quarterback for Houston. But we watched him. We watched that film. Look, he's a pro. He has experience. He's played in the NFL. Is he a ball of fire? No, of course not. Neither is Marcus Mariota, one of our favorite players from Hawaii, and he's playing for Washington this week. But they're capable guys. They know what they're doing, and he got all the first-team reps this week. So Davis Mills, by no means do we think he's going to light the world on fire this week, but we feel that he's the coach will have him, D'Amico will have him geared and set enough that there'll be smart plays, short dump-off passes. You've got Nico Collins, who is one of the top wide receivers in the league. You've got a great tight end. You've got the running game. You've got the defense. Davis Mills is capable of getting it done. And they're playing Jacksonville, who's got a really good defense, and they're turnover hawks. But we think that it's a spot for Houston, and it's a bad spot for Jacksonville. So that's why we're taking it. We understand that we understand it's Davis Mills. We understand it's not CJ. All right, okay. Back to our double up of the week. Arizona. Look, they have 14. They have 5 games. 5 games that they've lost by a total of 14. 14 points in 5 games. That is 2.8 points a game, less than a field goal. They already met Seattle once. Seattle dominated that game in Arizona, but if you watch that game, Seattle left the door open. Arizona came roaring back in the late fourth quarter, tied the damn game up 20-20, and Seattle they didn't have to. Arizona kicked the ball off after scoring to tie up the game, and the ball didn't land properly in the landing zone off these new kickoff rules, and Seattle had great starting position at the 40. They only needed to get to the other side of the fort, and they were in field goal range almost instantaneously. There was a minute and change left when this all happened. They ran the clock like you would expect they would. Darnold knows what he's doing, and they got it close enough. Jason Myers comes in, kicks the walk-off field goal, as they call it. No time left, and they won by 3. The game was not that close. We understand that. But that was under Kyler Murray. We think that Arizona is playing so much better with Jacoby Brissett. Go back and watch the Monday Night Football game, and you will see what I'm talking about. Brissett is mobile enough. He's spreading the ball around. Harrison Jr. They've got the running back is decent. He's getting the job done. The tight end is absolutely one of the top 3 or 4 tight ends in the league. Right now, I put him second to Brock Bowers, but definitely he's in that same level or top shelf as you've got the Brock Bowers, and you've got the Warren kid in Indiana. He's that type of player, and he's he scored 2 or 3 touchdowns last week on Monday night. So again, Brissett is more effective. Clearly, the team is rallied around him, and if you look at it, this is a division game, and Arizona, not during the Kyler Murray years or under his watch, but Arizona just in general always plays the Seahawks tough. It's, again, divisional game. The Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, Cardinals. They play tough and they play close. I'll say this as well. I've seen some 7s. So here's the dilemma with you. And again, you go at it one of 2 ways. Either wait it out. We think the line will get to 7.5. It's all Seattle Seahawk money. There is nobody really coming in on the Arizona side. It's 98% of the money and tickets are the Seahawks. So we're actually surprised that the line hasn't moved up to 7.5 yet. But we've seen 7s. So our suggestion is hold out and get the 7.5. That hook could save your life. On the flip side, if you can't wait, buy the 0.5 point. It's not that bad. Again, we'll go back to, would I rather cash out more and have a less line, or be protected but cash out a little less? I'm always going to be happy to take less but be cashing out than lose by a 0.5 point or a point. It's the worst feeling. It's bad enough when you lose, but when you lose by a 0.5 point or a point that you could have adjusted, you're mad at yourself for the whole week. So just be careful of that. Be aware of that. Again, that's why we show you the ticket at the wrap up. I'm not sure right now what my kiosk is going to look like when I get down there. I'm absolutely going to make sure it's a 7.5 line. I just don't know yet if it's moved up that high, because I live in a heavy Seahawk love zip code, or am I going to have to buy that 0.5 point? So anyway, to recap, you guys, I won't recap all the player props. You can go back and listen to it again. But real quick, we've got the Cleveland Jets under. We've got Houston, Jacksonville under. And we're taking Houston. Make sure that you get into 2. We suggest you take it to 3.5. We also suggest that Houston, you do sprinkle some money line on Houston outright. But that's for you. Everybody's wallet's different. We're just saying if you've got the extra. But our third pick is the Houston side. The fourth pick is the hold your nose Miami Dolphins. It might be stinking like fish out of the water. So again, I'm not in love with this pick. Can't you tell? But the team came up with it, and it's Miami plus the 9.5. Like I said, we love it to pair it up, to get it into a bunch of teasers or whatever. But again, definitely we like it at, rather than 9.5. We like it much better at 11.5. So remember that 9.5 is the posted line, but we suggest you always try to get it to the max without having to tease it. Then, of course, if you're going to tease it, then do what you got to do. That's why we gave you guys some teaser suggestions this week. You can go back and watch. And our fifth and final game is the late game. It's in Seattle, so it's the late game, the 1:25 Eastern. I'm sorry, 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific time, which is Arizona at Seattle. Taking, again, wait for the 7.5 or make it 7.5. That's our double up play of the week. Thank you guys so much for giving us your time and listening to us. Again, smash that like and subscribe button. Give us a chance to earn your trust and earn you some money. This is all free. The one thing we ask is that you like and subscribe, tell your friends and whatnot. And more so, go ahead and leave a comment and whatever. But on top of that, help us with the algorithms, where if you want to just leave us on and go wash dishes, or leave us on and go mow the lawn, or take a shower, whatever, leave us on, let us run, do it at two times the speed so it ends quickly. But we thank you so much and appreciate your time and attention to this matter. All right, you guys, as always, be good to yourselves, be kind to each other. Aloha and mahalo and good luck. Peace out. We'll see you on Wednesday. Oh, by the way, one more quick thing. I forgot to tell you. I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you. If we do have a special Monday night pick, we will always post that on Sunday night. We'll post it on Sunday night, so you have more than enough time to get it on Monday. We generally have been staying away from the Thursday night games, and Monday nights, generally, if we have a Monday night pick, we give it to you now. But if we have a standalone, was what I mean. If we have a standalone Monday night game, we come into some information, or we see something that stands out, or we really just love it, we think it's like a higher percentage pick type of situation, we will always let you know on Sunday night. So it's important that you subscribe, because the only way you're going to know for sure that we had that and get the notification is if you subscribe to our channel. So please do that as well. And we will be bringing you Monday night picks here and there that are called the standalones. And so we would not want you to miss out on that. So give yourself a chance by hitting that subscribe button. Again, be good to yourselves, be kind to each other. Aloha and mahalo and good luck. We'll see you next week.